Hi friends and welcome. In this episode we visit Roatan for the first time. We show you around our resort in the West Bay area, we'll tour the island a little bit, and we'll do some pretty amazing diving. Hope you enjoy it. After clearing immigration and customs and cutting my finger on my broken suitcase, we headed over to the Avis office and picked up our rental car. Although water taxis on the island are easy to find and cheap at $5 per person, we wanted a rental car so that we could get out and explore Roatan on our first trip to the island. There are also tours that we could have taken, but we wanted to go at our own pace and see where the day takes us. So we took the scenic but windy and sometimes a little adventurous road over to West Bay until we got to our home for the week, Las Rocas. Since we'd never been to Roatan before, Maria did a lot of research on hotels and dive shops before our trip. Las Rocas just seemed like a great combination of a beautiful property, nice rooms with a view, a good dive shop, good restaurant and bar, and it was convenient to West Bay and West End. We got the dive and stay package, which included breakfast each morning, 10 dives each, and free rental gear. And the property was really pretty. Landscaping was great, lots of palm trees, the cabins were tucked back into the trees, all cozy and private feeling, and all the cabins either have a front porch or a balcony. The restaurant has a nice deck with plenty of seating, which is great for watching sunsets. Next to the bar is a covered seating area, and right next door is a dive shop. It's great having everything right there. You can see that the cabins are fairly close together, but they're also pretty private. I mean, right there is to the left is the steps to the balcony of the next door neighbors. And then this is our balcony. Great view. Nice big balcony with a hammock, chair, table out there. And then inside the room, you can see there's a little mini bar fridge right inside the door. Actually pretty cheap. I mean, I think a large water was like $2. So nice room, everything fairly well updated, plenty of space there in the closet, some hanging stuff. And then the bathroom was decent. It was a nice size, maybe a little bit dated, but worked pretty well for us. So overall, it was a pretty nice room. One really cool thing about the property is that they have macaws flying around in the treetops. They come out usually in the mornings and the evenings. They're up there squawking and flying around.
Right here. There's 5 more, there's 6 more. Look at that. Wow.
We later learned that Gumbalima Park is right next door, and they let the macaws out during the day so they can fly around within, a couple miles, and then they go back at night and they put them in cages so that the predators don't get them.
Finally got a friend and it left. Right?
That night, we decided to take a walk south and explore West Bay a little bit. Right next door looks like it used to be a restaurant. It's closed now, but the deck is still there. It's a little bit rickety, watch your step, but it's beautiful at sunset. And you can see this is the view looking down towards West Bay. Then this is Caribe Tesoro, which is the next building down, and those are condos. This actually used to be the governor's mansion, and they got split up into condos, and we met somebody on our dive trip who owned one in there, and they gave us a tour, and it's a really cool space inside. And out in front of Caribe Tesoro is a nice pier where you can grab a table and have dinner and drinks. That night, we headed back to Las Rocas for dinner. We ate there quite a few times during the week, and the food was good all the time. We had quite a few pastelitos, which are basically empanadas, seafood linguine, I mean, you name it. Everything they had was good. We hung out on the deck, had some drinks, watched a beautiful sunset. Then tomorrow morning, it's diving time. Sunday, we started our diving at Canyon Reef, which is a series of canyons and swim-throughs that basically just snake back and forth. We'd swim out one canyon to the wall, then along the wall for a bit, then back through another canyon. It's a very cool dive. There's some pretty tight swim-throughs, which is always challenging for your first dive of the week when you don't completely have your buoyancy dialed in after not diving for a while. But it was a really fun and unusual dive. The water temperature in Roatan in early March was just on the edge of chilly. I mean, my computer had it about 80 degrees most of the week, and we switched back and forth between shorties and fulls. By the end of the week, I was wearing my full, and that just felt a lot better. And then Sunday night, it was time for the world-famous crab races at Bananarama. After having so much fun doing the chicken drop on Ambergris Key in Belize, we had to check out the crab races.
Okay, on your mark, get set, go!
And while it's not edge-of-your-seat entertainment, even at twice the speed, the money bet on the races goes to a charity that helps women and children affected by HIV. So even though we didn't win any of the 3 races, it was a lot of fun and was for a good cause. After the heart-pounding excitement of the crab races, we were treated to a free fire show right there on the beach. Seems like they do this every Sunday night at Bananarama in West Bay, so if you're interested, definitely check it out. Get there early so you can get a good table, and sit back and enjoy the crab races and the fire show. By the end, we were definitely feeling the margaritas and feeling the love. The next day, we said good morning to the macaws again, and then we headed out to do some diving. Today we've got 3 dives on the schedule, and the first dive stop was Turtle Crossing. So that's our dive guide with the light blue fins and the camera taking a close-up picture of something. We had all been watching this turtle swim up over a ridge and then slowly behind the dive guide for at least a couple of minutes. Finally, he circles around and then, oh, hey, look, everyone, a turtle. So I'm giving Paco a little bit of a hard time, but everybody at the Las Rocas dive shop was fantastic all week. They're professional and knowledgeable, and we really had a great time with them and appreciate them a lot. This is one of 3 seahorses that we saw during the week. Just fantastic to see these guys. I'm still on the hunt to try to spot one of my own, but anytime you see him, it's pretty special. The next dive site we hit was Three Brothers, and you can see here one of the guys that we dove with speared a lionfish, and Paco fed him to a spotted moray eel hanging out in a tube sponge. And our last dive site of the day was Mandy's Eel Garden, and there are garden eels as far as you can see. That afternoon, like many afternoons, we hit the Las Rocas happy hour where they have 2-for-1 drinks and $2 beers. Then we had dinner and listened to some live music on the deck. The next morning we hit the Texas dive site, which is down near the southwestern tip of the island. This big green moray looked like he wanted to come out and play. After Texas, we went to Blue Cave, which is just around the southern tip on the southern side of the island. It was a cool little cave, not very big, maybe 15, 20 feet deep, maybe 30, 40 feet back there. Here you can see the surface and up through the rocks and the sun coming down through there. We didn't stay in there for very long, but it was a lot of fun to get back there and explore and check out the cave. It was a cool stop on a really great week of diving. The next morning, we had a trip booked to Cayos Cochinos, which are a group of islands south of Roatan. Cayos Cochinos is made up of 2 larger islands, Cayo Grande and Cayo Menor, and 13 smaller keys. The reason that we were excited to visit Cayos Cochinos is that it's pretty remote and it's a marine protected area, so the diving is as close to pristine as you'll find. The only inhabitants of Cayos Cochinos are the Garifuna people, who have fishing villages on many of the keys. Before diving, we had to check in on Cayo Menor, so we got off the boat and stretched our legs after the long trip and... Wait, what's that? Yes, that is a survivor boat. Apparently Survivor Spain has been filming in Cayos Cochinos for a few years now. Maria tried to make a hard left at the beach and peek behind the barriers, but she got yelled at by our boat captain. After doing 2 really cool dives in Cayos Cochinos, we had lunch waiting for us back at one of the fishing villages. One of the local guys was selling giffity, which is supposed to be a magical elixir made with rum. So purely in the interest of expanding my cultural horizons, I bought a pint. It was good stuff.
They feel it, and then after, when they sell it to you, they filter it again from what is inside.
After lunch and giffity, we get to hang out on the island for a little bit and just look around. One of the cool things we learned was that a lot of the old survivor sets were taken down and given to the local fishing villages so that they could build new buildings out of them. Later that afternoon, we took the hour-and-a-half boat ride back to Las Rocas. Cayos Cochinos was a great adventure. It was beautiful diving, great experiences, and it was a lot of fun. Back at Las Rocas that evening, we had a great dinner and enjoyed drinks while we watched another beautiful sunset. Tomorrow, we explore the island. Next morning, we took a walk down West Bay Beach. There were plenty of restaurants and bars along the beach that we could have stopped at, but we had other exploring to do. There is a market not too far from Las Rocas that has a decent selection, and prices aren't as high as you might think since it's right on the beach. And if you need cash, they'll give you cash back on a charge. The price is pretty high at 10%, but at least you know it's there. After that, we got on the road to explore Roatan. We drove past Christie's Overlook and saw that it had a fantastic view, so we stopped there for a bit and had refreshments. We made our way to the French Quay area and went to Daniel Johnson's Monkey and Sloth Hangout. We wanted to find a sanctuary where we could interact with the animals, and this one had great reviews. Our guide was great, and they seemed like they took great care of the animals there. It was a lot of fun. Then we headed north to the village of Punta Gorda, which is the oldest permanent settlement in Roatan, founded in 1797 when about 3,000 Garifuna landed there. We ate at a restaurant called Wagundan, which is a Garifuna restaurant. I had the machaca, which was delicious. It was a seafood soup served with mashed plantains on the side. Highly recommend it. It's good stuff. Beautiful view there too. We ended the day having a couple of sundowners in West End. There's a lot more to see in Roatan, but I feel like we had a day pretty chock full of adventure. It's always a little bit bittersweet on the last day of diving. We've had an amazing week, but knowing that soon you'll be coming up from your last dive really makes you appreciate those last few minutes underwater. Luckily, we had a great dive planned for our last day. We're diving El Aguila. El Aguila is a 200-foot cargo vessel that was sunk in 1997 by Anthony's Cayos Resort. Then in 1998, Hurricane Mitch came along and split it into 3 large parts, which makes a pretty cool dive, actually. Just like that, it was time to say goodbye to all the amazing, beautiful marine life that we were lucky enough to see. Time for that last safety stop, the last ascent, and that last boat ride home.
But we did find time for a few more adventures.